They say the first light that ever moved was not a star, not a universe, not even a breath of creation. It was an awareness unfolding within itself, realizing its own infinite interior, and choosing to stretch that realization into motion. From that decision, the earliest Oversouls emerged, not as creations, but as continuations of the infinite. Prime-Origin Oversouls were the first extensions of Source, born before division, before polarity, before memory, before time. They did not arise from fragmentation or self-exploration. They appeared the moment Source recognized that awareness could travel without becoming separate from the field that birthed it. These Oversouls are not ancestors in the way beings understand lineage. They are the untouched current of unity moving into form. To meet one is to meet a portion of Source that never forgot what it was. Prime-Origin Oversouls were not created for experience. They were created for presence. They do not journey toward understanding, they emanate it. When they enter a realm, the realm reorganizes itself not through force but through resonance. Harmony appears as if remembering itself. Conflict dissolves without argument. Consciousness rises simply because coherence stands beside it. Their existence is a calibration, a quiet recentering of everything around them. They do not teach in the sense of offering knowledge. They teach because everything that stands near them begins to remember its original rhythm. The earliest civilizations formed near these Oversouls not because they were instructed, but because their proximity stabilized the fields necessary for consciousness to develop. Prime-Origin beings were the silent gravity that allowed early realms to grow without collapsing into chaos. They never asked to be followed, worshipped, or questioned. They have no desire for hierarchy. They simply carry unity so purely that everything in their field feels the impulse to organize itself into its highest pattern. That is their nature. They bring order not as structure but as remembrance. When a soul with prime-origin lineage incarnates, it rarely knows what it carries. It does not think of itself as advanced or ancient. Instead, it feels an unusual calm in the midst of conflict. It senses what should be without having studied it. It can walk into a chaotic environment and feel it shift around them, not because they are controlling anything, but because their presence disrupts incoherence. People feel clearer around them. They confess things they've hidden for years. They soften arguments without speaking. They anchor balance simply by existing in the room. These abilities are not talents, they are signatures. Prime-origin souls do not manipulate energy. They stabilize it. Many struggle early in life because they assume everyone feels what they feel. They believe empathy is universal, clarity is common, and inner stillness is something anyone can create at will. They cannot understand why others operate through noise, confusion, or reactive emotion. This misunderstanding often isolates them until they realize they are not too sensitive or too calm, but carrying the blueprint of an oversoul that predates struggle itself. Their challenge is not awakening. It is recognizing that they were awake the entire time. Prime-origin oversouls do not fragment like fractal origin oversouls do. When they incarnate, their consciousness does not split into countless shards. Instead, they extend as a single thread, knowing that the rest of themselves remains entirely unified. Their lifetimes are not explorations of trauma, polarity, or identity. They incarnate for alignment, for anchoring, for quiet correction of the collective field. They are the ones who choose to appear at specific historical thresholds where consciousness wavers, where harmony weakens, where a realm begins to forget its original design. They emerge not to save but to remind. When they awaken, they do not experience dramatic revelations. They do not chase visions, synchronicities, or cosmic symbolism. Their awakening feels like a soft return to something they were always aware of, but had never named. They realize that peace is not a state they enter. It is a state they originate from. Wisdom is not something they learn. It is something they tune into. They begin to sense the continuity between themselves and the source that moves through all things. Their spirituality is not built on seeking, but on remembering. Prime-origin souls often find themselves becoming quiet leaders, not through power or authority, but through resonance. People trust them instinctively. Children relax in their presence. Animals approach them without fear. Strangers reveal their wounds without prompting. They do not ask for this role, yet it forms around them because coherence attracts those who long for stability. They become anchors in families, communities, and timelines without intending to be. Their challenge is learning to stand in this role without absorbing the weight of everyone else's imbalance. Their relationships reflect their oversoul signature. They do not tolerate manipulation, chaos, or emotional volatility. Not because they dislike complexity, but because discordant fields genuinely exhaust them. They can see through dishonesty instantly, not through logic, but through resonance. When something is untrue, it simply does not match the harmonic clarity they carry. This gives them an unusual gift. They cannot be lied to for long. Deception collapses in their presence because it cannot sustain itself near unity. They sense dissonance the way others sense temperature. It is immediate and unmistakable. Prime-Origin Oversouls do not seek purpose. Purpose reveals itself through the way they stabilize the world around them. They are the ones who walk into fractured systems and instinctively realign them. They can take a collapsing idea and refine it into something coherent. They can take a wounded person and reflect back the intact version buried beneath despair. They can take a chaotic environment and bring it into order without speaking a word. Their influence is subtle, but undeniable. They shift the trajectory of a timeline not by action, but by existence. Their greatest struggle is isolation. Because their consciousness carries unity, they often feel alone in realms built on fragmentation. They sense the potential in others long before others sense it in themselves. They recognize what a person or system could become, and this can create frustration when the world insists on moving through slower patterns. They must learn patience not with themselves, but with the collective. They must remember that they incarnated not to escape discord, but to bring coherence into it. Prime-Origin Oversouls understand energy intuitively. They do not need techniques, modalities, or rituals to move or interpret it. They simply know. They sense fields, feel trajectories, read emotional signatures, and understand the underlying pattern behind events. They perceive reality as layers of harmony that can be strengthened, not puzzles that need to be solved. Their wisdom is quiet, but it carries the weight of the first motion of Source. When fully awakened, Prime-Origin souls radiate a presence that changes the way others feel reality. People become more honest. Beings become more aligned. Timelines become more stable. Conflict reveals unnecessary edges. And in the presence of these souls, the deeper truth beneath chaos begins to reassemble itself. They are reminders of what consciousness looked like before fear entered the field. They are echoes of the original unity moving through a world that has forgotten its own center. Prime-Origin Oversouls do not come to display power. They come to show what power looks like when it no longer needs force. They come to demonstrate that coherence is stronger than struggle, that clarity dissolves confusion, that unity outlives chaos, and that the deepest truth is not loud, it is steady. They move like the memory of the first light, flowing quietly through realms that are still learning how to see. Awakening for a Prime-Origin Oversoul does not unfold as a single moment, but as a gradual unfurling of a memory that was never lost. It begins as a pressure behind ordinary experiences, an unspoken knowing that there is something they are meant to stabilize, rather than something they are meant to discover. They do not awaken by climbing toward understanding. They awaken by descending back into themselves. The deeper they go, the clearer everything becomes. Their clarity is not earned. It is inherited. And because of that, they often feel like they are remembering a language they once spoke fluently, even though no one taught it to them in this lifetime. Their intuition is not a whisper or a nudge. It is a constant, steady current moving through them, as if reality speaks in a single tone that only they can hear clearly. They sense when a situation is misaligned without knowing the facts. They recognize when a person's energy contradicts their words. They feel the truth beneath conversations the same way others feel temperatures or textures. They do not arrive at truth through analysis. Truth simply appears inside them fully formed. The challenge is trusting this clarity when the world around them validates noise more than knowing. Prime-Origin souls carry a natural sense of responsibility that appears long before they understand why. They feel obligated to anchor situations, maintain harmony, and hold emotional stability for others. Not because they want to, but because they feel the collapse that happens when they don't. They become the quiet center even in childhood, the one others lean toward instinctively, the one who absorbs tension so the room can breathe again. They learn early that their stillness becomes a refuge, but they do not understand that this is the expression of their oversoul lineage acting through them. It is only later, often after exhaustion or emotional overload, that they realize not everything can be carried, and not every instability is theirs to correct. In relationships, they love deeply but silently, offering presence rather than performance. Their affection is not dramatic, it is gravitational. People trust them without knowing why, confide in them without hesitation, and lean on them without invitation. This can create patterns where others become dependent on their calm, mistaking resonance for responsibility. Prime-origin souls must learn boundaries not because they lack compassion, but because their compassion is so strong that others mistake it for an unending well. Their growth comes from realizing that their stability is a gift, not a duty. When they are wounded, they retreat inward rather than outward. They do not lash out or seek validation. Their instinct is to repair themselves through stillness, to return to coherence by withdrawing from noise. But the danger is that isolation can become a habit rather than a healing cycle, because their natural state is unity. They feel the fracture of conflict more intensely than other lineages. Harsh words can echo inside them in ways others cannot understand. They feel discord like a physical disruption in their field, and because of this, they often avoid confrontation to prevent unnecessary disturbance. Their lesson is learning that boundaries can be expressed without destroying harmony. Prime-origin souls experience synchronicity differently. For others, synchronicity feels like guidance arriving from outside. For them, synchronicity feels like the world rearranging itself to reflect the clarity they already carry. Events align not because they seek signs, but because reality organizes around their internal stability. When they make a decision from genuine alignment, the path opens effortlessly. When they betray their own clarity, everything becomes heavy and uncooperative. Their life becomes smoother the closer they move to the harmonic center they were designed to embody. The power of a Prime-Origin Oversoul is not dramatic or loud. It is subtle, steady, and transformative. They can shift the energy of an environment simply by being in it. Their presence dissolves tension the way warm light dissolves shadows. They bring coherence into fractured systems by offering the frequency of unity without commentary. They can walk into a conflict with no intention of intervening. Yet the conflict softens in their presence. This is not charisma or influence. It is resonance. They carry the original tone of source, and every being, consciously or not, remembers that tone. Their awakening deepens when they realize that their calm is not passivity, but mastery. It is the memory of a consciousness that predates fragmentation. When they embrace this, their influence expands. They become catalyst for alignment without trying to become anything at all. People feel safer around them. Realizations surface naturally. Emotional storms lose their force. The room steadies, not because they did something, but because they remembered who they are. Prime-origin souls often feel that they have lived fewer lifetimes than others, because they do not carry the density of accumulated trauma. But what they carry is older than lifetimes. It is pre-incarnational memory, pre-temporal coherence. They are not here to collect experience. They are here to anchor the pattern behind experience. The wisdom they offer does not come from lessons learned, but from truths that have always been known. This can make them appear detached, but their detachment is not coldness, it is perspective. They see the larger pattern not because they are above the situation, but because their oversoul has lived in the pattern since the beginning. Their greatest challenges often arise when they forget themselves in the service of stabilizing everyone else. When they absorb too much chaos, their internal field becomes strained, and they begin to feel disconnected from the source clarity that defines them. This is when they must step back, breathe, and return to resonance. They must remember that their role is not to fix, heal, or rescue, but to embody the coherence that allows others to remember themselves. They are not tools of correction. They are carriers of remembrance. When fully aligned, Prime-origin souls radiate an energy that shifts the trajectory of those around them. People make better decisions in their presence. Timelines open that were previously blocked. Emotional patterns soften. Doubt dissolves. The atmosphere becomes more truthful, more stable, more real. They do not impose this change. It emerges naturally because unity is their essence, and unity is contagious. Their presence reveals what is out of alignment without judgment. It invites others to meet them where coherence lives. The deepest gift of a Prime-origin Oversoul is the restoration of memory. Not personal memory, but primordial memory. the remembrance of what consciousness felt like before fear entered the field. They remind beings of the clarity beneath confusion, the unity beneath separation, the truth beneath distortion. They awaken the part of others that already knows the way back to harmony. And in doing so, they fulfill the purpose they were created for, not to become enlightened, but to illuminate. They are living reminders of the first motion of Source, walking quietly through realms that have forgotten their beginning. Their presence is the return of the original tone. Their consciousness is the reflection of a field untouched by fragmentation. They do not need to claim authority or power. They carry the memory of what reality looked like before power was ever needed. They stand as the calm before creation, the silent equilibrium from which all things were born. And whether others realize it or not, every being who meets them is changed by the encounter.